What do we do today, team?
We watch SICARIO and SICARIO Day of the Salad.
Going into these movies, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know much about either of them. But
When I watched the trailer for the second one, I thought it was going to be just, like, bad.
Yeah.
The trailer doesn't convince me to watch the movie.
But it has the second best scene in the movie. When he fingers his gun.
We'll get into the worst scene.
We'll get into the worst scene later.
Do you just want to do the first one first?
Of course.
yeah, that's how we should do this. Okay,
First things
Sicario
first, Sicario 1.
Sicario 1.
Good movie.
We watched right before going to see Sicario Day at the Soldado.
Yep. So Sicario 1, do you want to give like out of 10 real quick?
Sure.
Right? I said 8.
I also said 8.
I said 8.5.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because it's a good movie.
It's great.
It's genuinely entertaining. The cinematography in that one's really good. Mm-hmm. And the soundtrack's bad. In both
Soundtrack's bad.
I wouldn't even say the soundtrack's bad. I'll say what I said earlier. I just think it's abused as far as that one note that goes, whoa.
It's just so loud and overwhelming and doesn't add anything. So it's bad.
No, there's...
For me,
personally. Okay, it's not... It just doesn't add anything to the movie, so I can't praise the film for its soundtrack. I also can say the final act of the film, despite the film focusing entirely on Emily Blunt for the first 2/3, she completely disappears from the action, and I understand like she had no purpose to serve in the entire
story.
Actually, in the entire story,
they used her very, very well.
Yeah, but like in the very end, I wish we'd gotten more than just she stumbled out of the cave. Josh Brolin explained what was really going on.
All right, so we're hampering on negatives, not because we're nagging on the movie, but only because there are few of them.
Yeah, that's literally those are literally all the criticisms I have. The soundtrack and Emily Blunt not being in the finale. That is the beginning and end of my criticisms.
My only real criticism would be that there's a 10-minute sequence where they're just
SUVs
driving.
Too.
Just driving
SUVs.
SUVs.
The second one a little bit. But
you cut me off. There's just 10 minutes where just SUVs drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
It's just boring. I wanted that scene to be 10 minutes shorter.
There's striking imagery with like the bodies hanging from like the bridge and stuff. One's got no head. Like,
I remember. I think my favorite part of watching this movie was the opening scene where we were all like, "Oh, there's coke in the walls," and then they were dead bodies, and we all just kind of went, "Holy!"
I was like, "There's
fuck.
cocaine in the walls," and then
Ian
you
said
pointed it out, and you're like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, there's bodies in the walls."
And then we all just kind of sat there for a second. We were like, "Oh, holy fuck! This is gonna be
it's gonna be this kind of movie."
It's gonna be this kind of movie.
Is anyone opposed to me transitioning immediately to talking about the second one? As far as
I feel like yes.
I want to talk about a little bit of. No, it's just fuck.
I feel like at this.
I feel
like
both of them. It doesn't matter.
I feel like there isn't really much left to say about Sicario unless we're comparing it to Day of the Soldado,
which we could do right now.
What a fitting start! The opening scenes of both movies. The first movie's opening scene is done in an incredibly well done manner, where it throws you right into the action with little to no dialogue. I love all the performances. I love how incredibly subtle it is. And this movie just kind of started, and people are just doing stuff.
And it opened kind of the same way. Oh, hey, cops died in an explosion.
Except it's done less memorably.
Yeah, I don't like the terrorist thing. I think that's way overplayed.
That was way overplayed.
I feel like that's a comment to more of the talent of the filmmaker of the first one versus
this director didn't add anything.
The second one,
I felt like the scenes weren't even as good, like shot wise.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of
production
boring
in this movie ended up going down.
Do you remember that scene where it's one of the scenes where she goes to Brolin and talks and he just kind of bitches at her in the first movie?
Yeah, and it's a super wide shot.
It's a super wide shot and it stays static the whole time for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just a nice little subversive way to do that scene.
Yeah.
There weren't really many subversive ways to do scenes in the second one.
It was just shot, reverse shot,
and it felt like the plot of the movie changed like 4 times.
Yeah.
First it was about the terrorists, then it was trying to start a drug war, then it was trying to get this girl back, then it was trying to kill the girl.
They failed on every single aspect of the 4 plot points, too.
Yeah, every single plot kind of failed.
I will say this, and this is one of the very, very few, it might be the only thing that the second one did better than the first. I'll say it kept me engaged through more scenes. But the drawback of that one thing that I have as a positive is
less
that,
of the scenes were good.
Well, the dramatic moments in 2 pale in comparison to the dramatic moments in the first one. The first one's dramatic moments, you feel the weight and the gravity of each scene. And when characters talk and monologue to each other, it doesn't feel like, oh, it's going on forever. It feels like someone's impacting the other, and it's having an effect on things. Whereas the second one's dramatic scenes, Brolin's mad a little bit sometimes, and then it cuts away from him.
I really liked, not the initial setup, those first few opening scenes of this movie were probably some of the weakest opening scenes I've ever seen for a movie ever. But, no, I'm not even making that up. You know what scene I'm talking about, and we will get into that. I was enraged.
Let's go right into it, man.
Alright, so there's a scene in this movie where 4 terrorists blow up a target. and 3 of them blow up, and then this mom grabs her daughter and inches her way towards the opening door where the 4th terrorist is, and she tries to reason with him and gets within like 4 feet of him, and then he blows himself up, killing the mom and the daughter. I leaned over to Jake and I said, what the fuck, are we in the wrong movie? Because I could not believe that this had just seriously happened.
If you see a guy, I don't care where the door is, if you see a guy with a bomb in his hand who is about to blow up and saying like prayers to himself to blow up.
Don't go over to him and say, oh, please don't do this. Don't take your daughter over. Oh my God, I can't
just
explain.
Go another part of the store. Go to someone who just blew up and stand in that spot.
I literally can't explain how pissed off that scene made me. None of the terrorists make sense. None of the actions of the civilians make sense. And then we're supposed to feel for these fucking people who died. I am not sorry that mom died. She is a fucking retard. I'm not. And then, like, the whole point of the movie is terrorists are being smuggled into America through Mexico. And then
later on in the movie, you find
it turns out they're all Americans.
Yeah, they're from New Jersey or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even feel like there was
the gravitas of the
not
first
only
sequel.
that, I felt like there was no gravity to any of the scenes because that was such a background thing. Everything in this movie, the main plot, is a background. We're starting a war with the drug cartels. Mm-hmm. They don't ever show the cartels breaking down. We hear about the cartels breaking down. The cartels are at each other's throats. Are they?
Yeah, we never really see it.
Are they? Mm-hmm. Do we see that? We don't. In the first one, it's all about making enough noise. Mm-hmm. You know, and I felt like we saw that because there wasn't a clear end game. It was just rattle the cartels.
We got show, don't tell in the first one, and then
show, don't tell,
don't show in the
tell,
second
don't
one.
show.
And we're not even saying that the first one is like a perfect movie. There are weak points.
There are a lot of weak points,
of course, but like...
It's better than the second one.
It's better than the second one.
It still does a whole lot more right than the second one did, and I hesitate to call the second one like a bad movie because it keeps...
It's not a bad movie.
All the characters stay consistent. Brolin's character is hilarious throughout both.
Oh my God.
Josh Brolin is the shining
when he
light
started,
in both of
what was
these
the
movies.
line? Oh, the best part in that scene, that movie, is just, what the fuck happened? This guy explains, oh, this is why we were holding her in Texas instead of Mexico. I didn't ask you. Matt, explain. And he just rattles off
He says the same
line.
exact line.
Same exact inflections, too.
The guy
little
looked at him and just went...
All right, fine.
It was just perfect. Like... Throughout both of these movies, you're right, he's the shining light, if you will.
Brolin's character was good. I even enjoyed Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, I like Benicio del Toro
like him in
both
both
of them.
I liked him in both.
I don't hate the scene where, spoilers, 3, 2, 1, he gets shot through the jaw. I don't hate that scene.
No, that was good.
Actually, that's a good scene.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Were you actually confused as to how he survived? Because, like, I know you were like, what the fuck? And I was like...
when I looked at where the bullet hole was, I wasn't confused. But at first, I'm like...
Well, Mud...
Yeah, I remember, because I was like... I leaned over and I was like... He shot him in the jaw.
To me, yeah, you kind of.
It wasn't even in the jaw because if you shoot him in the jaw,
it was like
it was in the
mouth.
It was in the
the
side
point
of the
is,
cheek.
it was Fight Club. Yeah, shot in the mouth.
Honestly, I was still riding that high of like, wow, what a ballsy move to kill one of your bankable stars, and then they didn't.
But I like the reason why.
I also like the reason why, but I think we can all agree that end scene of Soldado. So, you want to be a SICARIO 2 Day of the Soldado as well, huh?
That's a bad scene.
What was... Okay, I got
He's just standing there.
I got several questions. How did he get back to America? What is his job now? Why is that kid still in the cartel? I thought him jumping off the truck signified that he had changed his mind. How old is this kid? He's got neck tattoos. 5. I'm not done yet. 5. Boss of this people smuggling business got killed. How is this still running? How is he still making money?
Maybe he's a SICARIO 2 Day of the Soldado.
6. What happened to Isabel? I'm actually genuinely invested. I want to know what happened to her.
I want to know what happened, but her
enjoyed
performance, spoiler again, is just fine. She is just fine.
It's just fine. I'll agree, but
I would say
actually...
that's more of a comment to the character wasn't very written.
Yeah.
She wasn't
how many
written very
lines
well.
did she really
but
have?
like by the end of the movie, I was actually semi-invested.
Yeah, you're invested in her character because of her relationship with Benicio del Toro's character.
Which isn't very fleshed out either.
I was more fleshed out in the first one.
You get
the second one was what's really added besides his daughter was deaf.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that was added to this character.
Clearly, again, in concept, not execution, he's trying to replace his daughter with Isabel.
Yeah.
And we get one scene of that when they visit a quiet place. And
Felt like
I wanted
SICARIO
to call
2, but like a subplot of this was just Logan.
you know what I mean?
little bit.
I literally want to call this movie a Logan place, because it was Logan with a quiet place in the middle. Overall, I don't think I dislike this movie.
No, I don't
Me neither.
dislike it. I mean, it's not the worst movie
It's
I've
not
seen
the
this year.
8 that the first one was. I'm leaning
Oh,
towards
no.
6. But
I was going to say 5.5, actually. 'Cause we didn't talk about anything we liked yet.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
that's
haven't.
true. Again,
Josh Brolin.
I
meant-
love Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin
He's
is the
The
man.
little post-it note on the window. I'm in your living room.
I'm in
Don't
your living room. Don't fucking shoot.
That might be my favorite moment in either Sicario. That
Yeah.
little post-it note on the wall. It's just this little throwaway gag, and I love every fucking detail.
Yeah, I loved Josh Brolin in both of them. Such a talented actor.
He does a lot of good work.
And
Also,
Jonah Hex.
as a whole, I'd say that the movie, I like the pacing better in this one because as great as the first one is, it did feel
There was a lot of
little
slow
bit.
moments.
There was a lot of slow moments in Sicarios.
And I
Day of
don't
the
mind a slow
Soldado
burn. Like,
felt quicker, but at the same time messier. Like,
That's what happens when you make a
That's what
movie a little bit.
Sicario had. It was slow, but it was meticulous. I mean, it's the same guy who did 2049, right?
Absolutely.
2049 was my favorite movie last year.
Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve.
That guy, Dennis Villenheim. That's the same thing I liked about Blade Runner 2049. It
is a slow movie, but every single aspect of it.
Like, that movie is almost 3 hours long, but there is not a single scene in Blade Runner 2049 I would cut. Sicario, I feel like not many, but a few scenes could be snipped here and there. Day of the
10
Soldado,
driving scenes?
there are scenes I would actively cut out because they suck.
Either cut or reshoot.
Or just
Yeah.
not have. I just.
I don't
can't
like the
get
beginning.
over this. I'm not making it up when I say this movie might have one of the weakest openings I've ever seen.
Honestly, when I'm like 30 seconds in watching just this bland shot and bland characters doing bland things, I think, how did the last one start 3 hours ago when we watched it?
Oh yeah, they were similar but different because like
It was this epic drug raid, but it didn't feel like this big blown up dramatic
here's
thing.
why you were in it.
You were in it. It just throws you in, sort
Yep.
of sneaking around to this thing. What is this thing? We have questions and they slowly get answered.
Yep.
Breadcrumbs. It's filmmaking. It
And
fucking
this one,
101.
this one immediately you're like, oh, they're sneaking across the border.
And you know what the bad thing? One of the bad thing is in the first one, every single place that they went, they explained why they were going there. They said what they were doing, or it was answered later. This one had the stupid Avengers title cards in the corner.
Yep.
I
Bam,
hate
bam, bam,
that.
bam, bam.
I hate that. Please let me figure it out. Say something about it, or explain it,
And it doesn't-
show it. Do something.
Does it really matter? At the end of the day, did it matter that Benicio del Toro was in Colombia? No, because he immediately leaves Colombia.
Again, we already talked about this, but like Benicio del Toro, what was really added to his character in this whole movie versus the first one, where they constructed a brilliant character. I'd say that's like an amazing. Him and Brolin are the standouts.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Emily Blunt a little bit too, but really the stars.
Get
of the
Out
movie
was
are-
pretty
are
decent
the-
as well, actually.
Get Out was actually really good. I'm
Get Out-
shocked Get Out wasn't in this.
I was amazed. I was also shocked Get Out was in it as much as he was. Mm-hmm. Like,
That was pre-Get
I was
Out, so
like,
it wasn't
I was
popular.
like, yeah. I was like, oh, he's gonna have a cameo. No, he's in that movie.
Yeah, he's
got a
a
role.
pretty prominent minor character.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Punisher was in that movie.
Punisher was in that movie.
John Barenthal, the boy.
But like, I think back to the Punisher scenes in the fucking Sicario movie, not the Punisher TV show.
my
I
God.
think
The
back
guy
to
who is
John
Punisher.
Bernthal's scenes in Sicario, and each scene builds in the other, and they all have a point and they all have a purpose, but they're also fun to watch on their own.
Yeah.
Sicario 2 didn't.
In that
I
scene,
didn't feel like there were breadcrumbs.
The scene where John Barenthal and Emily Blunt are about to fuck. And he puts all the stuff from his thing, and I noticed he has the band. And I'm
You
like,
noticed
oh,
that
this is
immediately.
good.
You were like, "That's a money
Exactly.
band from the
Something's
earlier
going to
shot,"
happen
and me and Jake
right
were like,
now.
"Oh shit!" And we were like, "I wonder if it's going to come up," and then immediately came up. That was
There is one singular shot in Sicario 2 that I think is brilliant. It's when they're trying to find out which direction the attack is coming from, and you see the guy swivel a little bit,
Yep.
swivel a little bit, pause, swivel, and then turn right around and shoot everyone in there. That was
I
the
noticed
best
that too.
fucking thing.
That was good.
That was subtle film. Like, I felt like Denis Villeneuve showed up on stage that scene, directed
And
that,
then
and then
left.
walked off.
Yeah.
Like, you know, one little bit of actual good.
Yeah, they
film.
did. This guy kind of sucked.
But-
I'm not gonna lie, he didn't add anything to the movie. In fact, he took away a lot of the stuff from the first one I liked.
Oh, you
Yeah.
mean the director?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I very bland.
All in all, I'm thinking 8 out of 10, then 6 out of 10.
8.5.
8.5, 6.5.
Okay, you're a bit more generous with it.
At the end of the day, I always judge a movie off of did it entertain me, and I'm not gonna lie. 4 of those points are coming strictly from the target scene in that moment.
But still, speaking to your entertaining point, it was it had a better pace. It's one of the few things that's better than in this movie, I think, than the original. But the pacing did keep me more engaged,
yeah.
but it didn't feel as important or
Yeah,
as
no,
good
none of it
as the
was-
first one. So
It didn't have the same gravity to it.
It didn't have the same
Every
gravity.
scene in the first one meant something, and there were scenes in this that meant nothing.
well, they tried to mean something, and they said that they meant something, but it was really just Josh Brolin arguing with like the Fox News lady, sort of, and then the glasses guy just kind of stands in the background. Like, why is he even in the scene? Just to be a punchline.
Feel like the subplot had a lot better payoff than the first one.
Cop?
Silvio in the first one.
It's good.
That is a terrifying, heart-wrenching moment, and he doesn't have any lines. He's in there for like 2 minutes, and you feel more about that character than I felt about any of the new characters in this one.
Yeah, but I mean, about the little kid,
Yeah, the subplot of the little gangbang boy.
I felt like it meant more to the story because he has that.
He
one
did
little-
have more of an impact on this.
He had more of an impact. So I that is something I can say. Day of the Soldado did better than Sicario. Is both movies had this little subplot about this character, and you were wondering what purpose is this character going to serve, and then it pays off. Silvio is a crooked cop that Alejandro kidnaps in Sicario to take him to an intermediate to take him to the bad guy.
I agree. I did not hate a lot of the scenes with the kid. I think a lot of this kid's story was great.
Yeah.
He didn't talk a lot either.
I was fixed in my mind. I had a 7 out of 10 for this movie, and then it cut 1 year later, and I'm thinking, okay, this could be an interesting point. Whoa, he's back! This is going to be a great moment! And then he's like, name drops
You want
the
to be a
title.
Sicario, Day of the Soldado?
Yeah,
Sicario,
and
Day
then
of
it
the
just
Soldado.
ends.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That brought it down a notch from 7 to 6
That's
for
a
me.
bad ending.
What
That-
was the
wow.
point of that scene?
I'm so stupid.
What was the point of that scene?
I wish
I don't understand.
I wish Villeneuve didn't show up one day and direct the only good scene in the movie. I wish he directed that end scene so that
I wish he directed the whole movie.
I wish
True.
we saw what happened to Isabel. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah, that's an open thread.
Oh, they'll
Holy
say
shit.
that in the next one. It's
They're like witness protection.
Witness.
How did Alejandro get back to America? Is that, like, where does that final scene even take place?
Like
That's
in
my
that
final,
mall.
the logistics of that last scene. My favorite part is it's dark out. 2 minutes out. Get there. Sun is up.
Yeah.
How
That was a
hard?
continuity error, yeah.
How
Shot in the
hard?
head at night,
How
and then he wakes up in the day.
fucking-
Brolin is driving there at night, and at the day he's almost
How
there.
fucking hard is it to keep this shit in order?
And if it's out of continuity, you should watch the movie as a director and be like, "Wow, we have
How
to redo
hard is
this."
it? How hard is it? You don't see the guy say 2 minutes out. How hard is it to take that soundbite and put a different one in?
Be like 6 hours out. Easy.
even
Easy
like
fix.
even like 3
Alternatively-
hours out.
Yeah. Just wait till the sun comes up.
Alternatively, sun's gonna rise in a half hour, boys. Come on, we gotta keep in check.
Yeah.
That's
Something
it.
simple.
Because if it's still dark out, and then if the sun rises, it looked like sunrise.
Literally,
You
we've
could've thought.
all three of us have done this for like student films that we've worked on. Like,
I've worked on at least student films, and I also had an idea.
yeah, just ADR.
Yeah,
Simple
it's
shit.
just audio. Come on, people. And like even then, like when Brolin's like, "All right, get us there in 10." We didn't need that scene. You can cut that. Boom. No continuity errors.
That
Yep.
scene where they're jumping the border though through the river, and he's just like, "Leave her." That's a pretty good scene though.
That was a
is
good scene.
I like that whole.
I had a theory it was going to be Dunkirk, where the girl that was getting swept away was going to be Isabel, and
Oh.
we weren't going to realize it until later in the movie when we saw it from their perspective, and I
Oh,
was like,
shit.
ooh, 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 and then it didn't happen.
That'd be
Weird.
weird and
But
out,
it'd be
out of
weird.
place in this movie. Just
Out of
because
place,
none
but
of the
I think that
Sicarios-
would actually make it a little better.
It might, but like.
But it
it's never
also
time
doesn't
jumped
work because
before.
but it doesn't because then like it's night. The kid leads those kids across the border. It's still night. Benicio del Toro gets there. Kid comes back. We haven't had a day in between. Mm-hmm. Lazy.
Yeah, lazy,
Yeah, a little bit.
a bit contrived, and
Just-
a decent effort, but not nearly what the original was.
Do you want to know what the Rotten Tomatoes scores for both of these movies are?
What?
93-63.
Oh,
That's a
fair about spread. what we're That's a saying fair about spread. it, yeah.
I'd say that's a fair spread.
it's also similar to what we think about it.
Yeah,
as far as
I
out of 10
mean,
scores.
5.5, 6, 6.5. I'd call that a fair spread.
Yeah, more or less.
Ant-Man is next, baby. And
Yeah,
I
Can't
baby.
wait for Wasp and the Ant-Man.
Yep,
Can't wait
I'm gonna
for
go see
the-
Uncle Drew. Bye.